Oh, hey, Alice. You fell down the rabbit hole at a good time. Welcome back to the Mad Tea Party. We have Black Venus in the building. I got Ben sitting next to me and Gary over here. Thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Happy to be here. It is an absolute honor. I'd seen you guys play other shows around town before, but I didn't even know you guys were going to be at Muddy Roots. And I was like, oh, shit.
That's like
Black Venus is over there on the big stage.
Yeah.
So I heard the call and I migrated with the flock over to big stage.
Yeah, that's great.
You guys fucking ripped it as you always do, but seeing you guys in front of a huge crowd like that was really cool.
Yeah, it was cool for us. We took a chance with our set list and really tried to do something new for that show. We spent like a month on that set alone.
Right.
We played like, I think in a big setting, we played 3 songs for kind of, right? Yeah, I would say 3 or 2. We've never played in front of a lot of people. So it was just, it was a challenge for us. It was, at least for me.
Yeah, we played Muddy like 5 times.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. We've been playing pretty consistent. I mean, everybody took a year off for the COVID, during COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like 2017 or so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was my first Muddy Roots.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We like hopped on. It was just like a last minute thing. Somebody canceled and we hopped on one of the side stages, and then we did side stage, wood stage, and then eventually that was last year.
They normally have us at like, well, no, like the year before we played, we were like last.
Yeah, we played after the Jizza, and it was like nobody would ever say that we were headlining and the Jizza was opening for us, but it was really odd to be like, well, as soon as the Jizza finishes up down there, Black Venus plays.
That's fucking awesome.
But that's Muddy Roots, and that's what's so great about it.
We love them. I love the people there. They're our favorite, at least my favorite people,
for sure.
Again, that was my first one, but everything was just so, it was so perfect. Just the people walking around were cool.
Yeah.
All the bands were fucking killer. I only knew like probably less or half of the lineup, but I'm like, holy shit, these are some of my new favorite bands.
Yeah. I stayed that whole weekend, and I kept finding like bands that were like from Nashville that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Soviet Shiksa, Weird Sisters, Black Venus, fucking what other Nashville band?
Waxed was there.
Waxed.
They're a Nashville band, and they were awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Dude. That's crazy. Is like there's all these super talented bands, but half of these super talented bands are from Nashville.
Yeah.
Right.
Like these are people I've seen before. Like it was super cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys are playing a show at the OG Basement on December 6th.
Yes, sir.
And then right after that, the following Friday, you're releasing your first full-length album, which is self-titled, Black Venus by Black Venus.
Yeah.
How many tracks are we talking about?
8. We had to take 3 off.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we had 11, and then they wouldn't fit on the record.
We had like 55 minutes of material, and it was like, something's got to go here. Unless we were trying to. Yeah, it was like a double vinyl was like obviously like double the money.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's pare it down.
So I guess it's finished at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was kind of a great experience for us, though. I mean, I don't know if it was a great experience. That's kind of wrong thing to say.
Well, we did it like not peak COVID, but it was in the time where everybody was like, all right, everybody test beforehand. We wore a mask for 12 hours straight, in the studio. And that's how long we've been sitting on it. So we're just really anxious to get it out and like
hell yeah.
Yeah.
We took our time with the track listing, and it flows. It's very nice to listen to all the way through. And that's something that I'm like incredibly proud of is I really like the way it plays. It's something that like you'll listen to the whole side and you'll be like, oh shit, it's over. Like, oh, like you almost want to flip it over. It's excited for that.
Yeah.
Where'd you guys record it?
The Sound Shelter, Traceland. That was the latest name of it.
Yeah.
2 brilliant minds, Trace Sasser and Joe Costa, found us and recorded a couple songs, and after those songs they came to us again and said, hey, we want to do the record, and they produced. There's new sounds that we've never had before in our band.
Super lush, like
Yeah.
fill out, because we're just a 2-piece. And so we've done, I feel like different releases, we take different approaches. So the first EP we did, Blackheart EP, it was like in my living room at the time, and we recorded every single part exactly how we play it live. And it was like no overdubs. Well, no, wait, that was
overdubs.
over. So that was
Yeah.
like using only exactly what we had, but then like doing as much as we could with it. And then the next one we were like, now all of a sudden we're going to do different. We're just like, this is going to be exactly how we play it live. And so this one was really cool because it was just like so me being kind of part of the audio recording up until this latest full length, it was really cool to just be like, to just let it go. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just drummer today. Like, and it was just really fun to let those guys just do what they wanted with our sound. And then it turned out probably better than anything I could have come up with, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure. I think it's always good to get another set of ears on it. Like,
Mhm.
especially if you're like super familiar with these songs. It's like
Yeah.
you hear it, have someone fresh taking a look at it is,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah. It was cool to just be like, all right, what do we sound like through somebody else's
Yeah.
perspective, and let them run with that. It was very cool.
Are you going to be playing these songs on the 6th?
Only, I think we're
Oh,
only gonna
okay.
play. So there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of different sounds for us. So we're trying to have people play those sounds. So we might be playing with a full band that night.
Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah.
it's
Right on.
We did. You remember we did one
Yeah,
show.
we did one of them.
We did one show that was like that a while back,
Yeah.
and I would say it was interesting. I don't know if it sounded good because
I have
on
no
stage,
idea.
On stage, it sounded like chaos, but
It was
really,
chaos. There was a theremin. And
yeah.
It was just
yeah,
a wizard.
yeah. So that was definitely fun, but this time it's definitely like there's an actual part now as opposed to just like thinking that up.
Yeah.
Just like, so that'd be great.
You guys are very like my history with Black Venus is very ethereal because I've seen you guys play multiple times before Muddy Roots, but I couldn't tell you where or like even what year it was, or who you played with. I want to say Year of October, maybe.
Yes.
You guys played it. Okay.
Cobra.
Yeah.
I think we
Okay.
played with them
Yes.
at the Cobra.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe last year.
Possibly. We played the Cobra.
That's what I'm saying. You guys are like a legend, but like it's like, when did I see that?
It's like what's funny is like depending on what band it was, like that could have happened any year of the last 8, essentially.
Yes.
because we've been playing.
Is that how long you guys been playing together?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's
We had
like
a band before it too.
so it's like closer to it's like 8 to 10, right?
It's
like
crazy,
all together,
yeah.
and I think 8 of it, 7 or 8 has been Black Venus.
Right on.
Yeah.
So the project before this, was this also a 2-piece?
No, it was a 3-piece.
Okay.
Then it turned into a 4-piece.
Okay.
And then there was Mutiny. And
Drama.
Mutiny.
Oh, it happens.
Yeah.
And
That's
could I say adultery? Is that I think that
You can call it what it was.
I think
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Gotcha.
Not
Okay.
involving me.
Yeah. And then it was Ben and I.
hell yeah,
We were rose from the ashes.
dude. Like some of my favorite bands are 2-pieces. Like 68 is like really near and dear to my heart. And like even locally, like you guys know Cassette Stress?
No.
Oh, dude, you guys would be sick on a bill with them. There's another 2-piece here called Firebird from Australia. They're sick as fuck. But I love a good 2-piece. Like you can do so much with that.
Yeah.
And it almost like it's easier to listen to, I feel like. Like I don't really have a trained ear for music. I enjoy it, but I don't like
Yeah.
I don't play an instrument. I'm not a head, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And like I love you can like really listen to a good 2-piece.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Like from my experience, like mixing us, it's like really fun, especially like we said, where it's like giving somebody else kind of that free reign to do whatever they want. With our latest release, it's like when I was mixing our old stuff, it's like I feel like a lot of audio engineers get into that zone of like they're trying to, it's like, are the guitars going to be the loud thing or are the drums going to be the loud thing? It's like everything kind of has to fight. And I feel like with us, because there's only 2 pieces, there's enough separation that I can just like crank both of them.
Yeah.
And it feels right. And
Yeah.
like nothing is like you know, it's like if I want to follow exactly what Gary does, it's not masked by anything I'm doing,
Sure,
kind of thing. It's pretty cool.
On the record, is it just you two, or was there other instrumentation?
Yeah. So just a ton of like they really layered a lot of different parts on too, but nothing that ever felt like it wasn't.
No, it works.
Yeah,
It
it all
works.
works really well.
There's like backup vocals.
Okay, cool.
There's
Like quiet, like choral,
like
Ooh,
choral, yeah.
Right on.
Like you hear in Evil Sky. Evil Sky is the first. So we
Track one,
we were supposed to release this like a year ago. Some shit happened.
It's
Always shit. And then now we're here. So at the time though, there was piano, very minimal piano. There's synthesizer. There's bass.
Yeah. And when the bass is like real bass, it like hits really hard. Just because usually it's just like low end guitar, which is works great. But all of a sudden you're like hear like a bass line, like oh shit.
Yeah, we sort of use it to our advantage in certain songs. Like you'll be listening, then all of a sudden like a bass will come in, and you'll be like, "Where the fuck did that come from?"
I know it could hit that hard.
Yeah, it's hard. It's cool.
That's awesome. What kind of music did you guys grow up with, like in the house?
God, I had an older brother, and he was 6 years older than me, so he was a teen through the grunge movement. So I used to steal all, like my first tape was Dookie.
Hell yeah.
Like I still have it. I think I was like 6. So at a young age, I was listening to just like Smashing Pumpkins. In fact, I used to carry around a boombox with me and just play shit out loud in the grocery store. Just serious. Just
that's amazing.
My dad likes Southern rock, Dylan, and I went through all that. Then I found my own stuff, and I don't know, I've wandered down every trail.
Yeah.
And I like that. I mean, I listen to everything. And
so you had music coming from your dad and your older brother, basically. Yeah. Okay, cool. What have you been?
Yeah, there's always music going around in my family for sure. My mom was like big Barbara Streisand fan.
Sick.
I remember rocking like she was like the kind of like person who would listen to like one album and it would be like we're just listening to that all summer. I remember doing that with like Alanis Morissette.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah.
Jim
That album
Blossoms.
ripped when it came out. Okay.
All those records to this day are like, let me put this on and it just feels right. My dad was into like everything, like Sade and like like he and Erykah Badu and like these really like
she kicked ass.
Yeah. And
she still kicks ass. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I remember when she came out, you were like, shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so from there, then when I started getting into my own stuff, it was always like a big, pretty eclectic mix. But the things that have stuck have been like hip hop, and like punk and metal for sure.
Right on.
Yeah.
Where'd y'all grow up?
Ohio. Akron, Ohio for me.
Upstate New York.
Okay. Gotcha.
I had to go to Detroit for like my first show. There was no concerts. There was like there was little culture. It kind of died. So wasn't a lot of music in the community happening.
Is that what brought you here?
No, what brought me here was I went on a road trip, and this was the only place that I met people during the day, and they said hi to me at night. And I lived in the city before then, and people don't really do that there, which
in New York City, right?
Yeah, New York City, yeah. And so that was such a welcoming thing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's such a very like spiritual answer. Like you have a connection to this.
Yeah.
That's right. That's awesome.
I moved away for 2 years. I moved to Cincinnati. We had to do a long distance band. And
it's really hard on the kids.
Yeah, it was really hard. And it just wasn't the same. You know, it wasn't it wasn't the same kind of vibe. Like you meet someone and then you see them later and they say hi to you. That's you don't feel that in other places.
Yeah. I start to get jaded and not like Nashville, and then I go somewhere else, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
oh, I miss being home.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
half of being a New Yorker is bitching about how much you hate New York. Like that's just part of big city
Yeah.
living is you have to hate it.
Yeah, there's plenty of problems here, but like I just don't. I'm sure there's a scene in other places, but I wouldn't know where to go on any given night. But if I look at my like, I keep a event calendar just for when bands are playing, and I'm like, oh, literally any night I wanted to go do something, I could go
Yep.
see some badass band.
Yep.
Yeah.
Usually to a room of like 10 or less people, but you know
A
that's
band that's better than you. Like
Yeah.
at any moment you can go and see a better band than you here in Nashville. And
it is beautiful.
I feel like that's the underrated part of the Music City thing, right? Like if like when I was playing music in Ohio, it was like, you know, my favorite band was my friend's band, and they would play once every 2 months the same venue, right? It was like
Yep.
when we were as active as we could be, we were taking like 3 shows at least a month, and we were just playing like every week to a different crowd at a different venue, and it was
Yeah.
like we just started like not like bingo style, but it was like, man, what's the last venue? Like we haven't played Mercy Lounge yet. We got to get in there. Like,
yep.
and it was just like that's, you know, so it's like, yes, of course, you know, there's not like a thriving like punk scene where we're like pumping out like these kind of things, but we're like kind of weirdos and we find shows to play all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like we can just be like pretty active musicians just living in Nashville.
Oh,
and,
sure.
and it's just been like
Very fulfilling. Very like
a lot of opportunities to
Yeah.
play and do
Yeah.
the thing that we want to do.
It seems like you guys clearly enjoy playing the music you play. Like,
yeah, that's what
it's like you can tell when a band doesn't. And you can tell when a band really does.
yes.
And it's like that's part of what's so great about seeing you guys too, is like it's, I don't know, like it feels like you're walking in on you guys playing in your living room or something.
I like that.
yeah.
I know people like come here from like LA or like from Texas or different places, and like I don't know, like they think like they're gonna come in and like take over, like it's competition. And I'm like, that is absolutely the wrong way to look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not gonna get you anywhere.
Yeah.
Also, there's some kid from the sticks here that'll play circles around you.
Yep.
It's like it's like all he does is
Yeah.
play guitar.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
It's a beautiful melting pot. I'm definitely not shitting on like those bands either. But yeah, it's, you gotta come at it like it's only competitive if you see it that way. And
Yeah.
at that point it is,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
now you framed it that way. But like it really doesn't have to be. Like we all collaborate on having a cool collective scene. There's plenty of venues. There's room for everyone to eat. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
Nobody's starving.
Me, I do have a little bit of like a sports background. So for
Okay.
me, the one thing that I've enjoyed about the competitive side of music is how I've been able to find like a similar structure in daily life, meaning like we're playing a show, I need to like, you know, condition my body for the show. I need to, you know, just maintenance that has to be done. My equipment has to be up to par. I have to show up at it just reminds me of like playing like hockey, or you know what I mean? Like there's practice, the weekly practice I gotta make.
Right.
It's, I don't know. I enjoy those things about it.
I see what you're saying. It sounds like you're trying to be the best version of
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like you're competing against yourself.
That's exactly
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Got to up the ante.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. What have you guys been listening to in like the last week? Did we get you what you grew up with listening to?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
That's pretty much.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So what have you guys been listening to in like the last week or this month?
I'm a big Every Time I Die fan.
Oh,
And-
fuck yeah, dude.
And they
yeah.
passed away recently. Every Time I Die. So the ashes of that have been Better Lovers, and then
Wait, they're done?
Yeah,
they're done.
they made so much music though.
Yeah, there's like eight or nine full length records, and they're all.
I'm sorry, man. You really like them.
What was so funny was I've been such a vocally big fan of them for
Mm.
years that like more people reached out to me when they broke up than like
All right.
last time somebody like when my grandparents passed away. Like nobody really hit me up and like, oh god, I heard the news about Every Time I Die. But anyway, their two projects are kind of like coming out simultaneously. So Better Lovers is out there. Many Eyes, which is the singer's new project.
We got two now.
Yeah,
You got
now it's
one and
like
two.
it's
Like,
I gotta fill that void. It might not be exactly the same,
Yeah.
but think
Now there's
that's-
two every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Big in that. What about you?
That's a lot. Um, I've been really into this Cleveland band. I work really early, and I come in and have a cold brew and listen to metal,
Hmm.
and it wakes me the fuck up. And I've been listening to this band from Cleveland called Midnight.
Yeah, I know Midnight.
Yeah, they have this song that's like the closest thing. I listened to it, I'm like, man, I wish that we sounded like that. It's fucking really good. Idols a lot. I saw Nick Cave at the Ryman this week.
Fuck yeah.
I
I bet that was awesome.
was alone. It was like a spiritual moment. It was him alone at the piano. And it was, I don't think I ever need to see a show at the Ryman again. And he played with the bass player from Radiohead.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a serious show. It was it ranks up there for just being unbelievable. He saw a lot in a cave, and I like PJ Harvey a lot. I'm a new Against Me fan.
Hell yeah. I've been Against Me fan since like 2005.
No, what's really wonderful is like
you like discovering them later on.
Yeah.
And that's connecting about it now.
yeah, like we connect about Against Me, or, recently, like within like the last 3 months. Now he like sends me songs like, here, check this one out.
You gotta do this one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So hard segue. We're gonna flip into our other segment now. Okay, so I always have to think about like how to word this. I haven't found the right way to say it, but like when I ask you guys if you have any ghost stories, that kind of puts like a label on it of like, well, I think it was a ghost.
Mhm.
So really what I'm trying to say is any experiences that you can't like explain with logic or you consider like mystical in some way.
I have a ton of those.
Okay.
That's
And you'd like to share.
one that I know was a ghost. We'll start with
Hmm.
that one.
Certainty. I love that.
Yeah, certainty. And it made me believe that ghosts, that was like the segue for me believing in the spiritual supernatural world. I had a partner that lived in Massachusetts, and we went to her childhood home, and she told me that the grandma died in the house and just kind of walks around, and every now and then you'll hear a door slam, and sure enough, when I went in the house, the grandmother was walking around the house the entire time. You would just hear like another person just living, just like walking in every room, like closing doors upstairs. When it would enter the room, everything got really cold and calm, had like a really calming effect.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It was actually kind of beautiful, and it wasn't scary. It was kind of like that like security of you wish that someone was there. You didn't really feel alone with, you know what I mean? That was something that was really cool. Yeah, I enjoyed that. It was weird at first though. I was terrified trying to sleep with like someone walking down the hallway.
Yeah.
You're like, go to bed.
You're like, it's bedtime, Graham. Like,
we'll talk in the morning.
And you said that was like a turning point for you, and
Yeah, I mean, after that, I sort of always believed in.
So before that, you're just kind of
Like everyone else, like a skeptical, like or just a skeptic, not really.
Did you grow up with religion in the house?
Yeah, I grew up Catholic.
Okay.
Same.
I
Yeah.
don't know if we've ever even talked about
No, we
that.
never did.
We've both been probably scarred.
Well, that's
from those
yeah,
separately.
Maybe it's healthy you guys haven't talked about it.
Yeah,
It's
right.
not on your mind.
Mhm.
I'm spiritual, but
Yeah.
I don't like judging other people.
Sure.
And I always found
Well, it's not very Jesus like when Christians do that. It's like that's
yeah,
not,
everyone's like, just don't be a hypocrite. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you say, just be
What-
nice to everybody. That's all.
if Jesus was here, I don't think he'd be like, I hate gays and you're all going to hell. I
No,
don't think that's.
He'd probably give us one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd say kickflip.
Yeah. Kickflip. Like, let's
Kickflip
go.
Jesus.
He'd
Why
pass you a
not?
blunt.
Yeah.
He'd pass you the best weed you've ever seen.
What a champ.
One thing I've noticed though about all of these things, and something that's really played with my mind about spirituality, is why is it that 9 times out of 10 you always ask or want or pray for something that involves you or something closely direct around you? It's like 9 times, like most of the day no one's there, but when you need something, that's when you reach out. And I find that kind of hypocritical in myself too, to just always want or need all the time from the higher power.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like a misapplication of what it's supposed to be. Like you can pray, like confess your sins, basically. Like
Yeah.
confess that, like, I fucked up. I am not doing good. Not even like as a guy, but like as just I think it could be like a very, like, there's kind of like some scientific evidence that there's application to it,
Yeah.
even without a God. Like, so I think it's just a good meditative practice.
Yeah.
It's kind of like looking in a mirror, but not being aware that the other side of the mirror is you. So it's
Yeah.
like you're being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
But something you said reminded me, I can't remember who it is, but some comedian has a bit that's really apt. He's like, like God's kind of a dick if like he gives you that thing you're asking for instead of like, I don't know, like curing malaria or something.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that's where his priorities are. He's kind of a dick.
Like, oh, I'm so glad God helped you find your keys this morning.
Yeah, right.
He did nothing to help the like thousands of children who died in
Meanwhile,
poverty
yeah.
in a third world country.
I always have this hot take too, that like there's always the like science versus spirituality, but like, doesn't mathematics prove that there is some sort of higher power? Because
The conflict is entirely a misunderstanding. They're
Yeah.
actually not. If I think, to think they're in conflict is a misunderstanding, or one or the other or both. Because it's really not like. I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
I was also homeschooled.
sick.
So I was very, very sheltered.
Yeah.
And I moved out when I was 18 and immediately like started going to shows here. So like,
Cool.
I'll get off of that in a second, but just briefly to say like live music saved my life.
Yeah.
So what you guys do is very important.
Oh, thanks, man.
Like even you might not always feel that way, but it is. You're doing a lot for people. So thank you.
Appreciate that.
That's
man.
kind of the point. It's
Yeah.
At least the goal is we listen to music in certain situations. You're sad, you throw on a song. You're happy, you throw on a song. It's like in a way that I can give back to my community is give someone an outlet like that. Is, hey, you're sad, throw this song on.
Yeah.
This is gonna cheer you up. Or you want to break a trash can, put this guy on.
And the raw and more genuine you are about what you're doing, I think like that's where the real magic's at. Like if it's like an industry band that's like making something they think like will sell rather than just doing what's coming from their heart.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They're completely different things.
It's like McDonald's. It's like the difference between eating McDonald's and eating at a restaurant. It's like all that stuff is like, that's what I don't get about it. It's like people rip on like all these big industries, oh, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna go there, but I'm gonna listen to this. Like, it's the same thing.
Support local music. It's like you said, it's like eating locally versus like McDonald's.
Yeah.
First of all, it's gonna be way better. It's fresh.
Yeah.
The food's fresh, the music's fresh.
Sometimes I'll just ask people, like, I'll just be like, why? Like, it doesn't matter who you like, but like I'll have coworkers that like a certain female artist, and I'll just ask them why.
Like
And
genuinely, not even like
Yeah.
as an insult, but like
yeah, all I want to know is why you like.
Yeah.
Why do you like something? And that's what's important. Like,
yeah.
It's so funny that you say that. Like I have an ongoing thing with my friend Kaden, where it's just like, because we're both like inevitably single and like trying to find our people, right? And so nonstop.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I've dated people who have like the exact interests as I do, and it still just doesn't. Not like that's
Oh.
all it is, but it's like I find more connection with somebody who's like an actor or somebody because it's like it's the why you do things, and it's like why that thing like lights you up versus like the what of it is
Yeah.
as I've gotten older, it's like the why
Yep.
why I like Drake, right? Like
Mm.
Drake to so many people would be like it's very surface level and it used to be a thing, but it was like oh well the reason is because when I was really depressed like I could transport to a different world, and it's like you know what I mean, like the why of it is of everything is just
Yeah.
been so much more important than the what of it lately.
Yeah.
And,
Like if someone goes, Taylor Swift's my favorite artist,
he's like I
the
need to know
why
I
might
need,
really make that
yeah,
not an issue.
I know a person whose why they love Taylor Swift is amazing, and I'm just like hell yeah, that's so good
cool.
for you.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
into that.
yeah, so
Yeah, I think it's an important question to ask yourself too. Is like
Why
why
you
do
like something?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to get to like oh like why is like I said with certain things that seem like either it's like why is this appealing or why does this person annoy me, right? It's
So-
like I try and find it's like there's probably a flaw within me or how I'm thinking about this person if like I'm either like am I jealous of that person,
Yeah, or
Is
like
that
maybe
why
I'm
I don't
missing
like-
out on this thing. I've stubbed my
Yep.
toes. Like
yeah
yeah.
exactly.
So what why do you like Every Time I Die?
It's a great question. So Keith from Every Time I Die, the lyricist, vocalist, he's just always really been able to kind of put a finger on feelings I've had throughout my whole life. And I think he's pushing like 45 and I'm 36, and so it's like he's always one step ahead of me in life and like going through a thing, and it's almost like by the time he has the time to like digest it and like put it into the record, it's like the next one that comes out. So it was like he's definitely always gone through like religious things, like he had like a whole just like traumatic thing with like his family, and it's like so he'll put out records that feel like all of a sudden I like receive it at the exact time I need it. And
Yeah.
in addition to it just being like really like always love the drummers that they've had, always love the riffs just because it's like so unique, and like it goes super hard, like the breakdowns are great, but then it's like substancely stuff as far as the substance goes of like what they're talking about. It's like it's not just like oh that sounds like spooky and scary while I'm screaming. It's like he's telling a story, like he's telling his story, he's telling other stories. That's the main point. I don't need to talk about Every Time I Die that much.
I was late to the game on them. I got on the album with Planet Shit on it.
Yeah, Radical.
Radical.
That was their last one.
Yeah, so okay, yeah. So I was late to the game on them, and so like I've done some of their back catalog.
Yeah.
I'm not like a huge head on them, but like that their last album is my favorite out of the stuff I've listened to.
Yeah. Their last album played like almost like a greatest hits. Like you could go like track 3 was like the one that they put out in 2007. Track 4 was like the one they put out in like 2016. Like that was what was so hard about them breaking up too. It was just like they just put out their best record. And then it was like
maybe they were like, yo, that's it.
That's
We
it.
did
That's
it.
all we need.
Magnum opus.
Yeah, that's all you guys
Yeah.
need. That's it from us.
Man.
Yeah.
So what do you like about Midnight or Idols?
My partner likes metal. My fiance likes metal. We actually got engaged at Muddy
Hey.
Roots.
Oh, congratulations,
Yeah.
dude.
That's
awesome.
It's been a journey. He's been along for the ride. He knows the stories.
I
Hell
took,
yeah,
I
dude.
took pictures behind
Yeah.
sneakily
Aw.
while he was proposing to
Right
her.
after I talked to you.
No shit.
Yeah, right after we talked.
I remember distinctly. I saw you were walking, I think, from Wood Stage,
Yeah.
and I caught up with. I'm like, oh, that's dude from Black Venus.
Yep.
And
The
yeah,
sound
so
guy.
right after that, huh?
Yeah, the sound guy prevented me from going into the crowd and asking her during our set. Yeah, that was the point. When I went out to the front to try to go close to the crowd, that was the point. And he was like, no, you can't do
You
it.
didn't tell me that.
Yeah, that was
Damn, that's why you were so pissed.
that's why I was so pissed.
You couldn't get off the stage.
I couldn't. Yeah, he was like, no, I don't trust you. That's what he said.
He was on like the front line.
He was on the
Trust
front
you to
line.
get off the stage.
We were gonna play Blackheart at that time, and I put a microphone on the subwoofer, and I was going to start singing because it's a cappella, and then I was going to stop singing and hop off the speaker, and she was right there, and I was going to ask her during the song.
Oh, I didn't know you had this whole plan.
Yeah, and he was like, no, and I was pissed after we played. I was like, yeah, I was very, very mad. That was the reason why.
Gotcha. That makes more sense.
yes.
You know, I almost like that story more than if it had happened that way, because it's symbolic of life. Okay, if just hear me out. It's like life is like you have this great idea of how it's going to happen,
Yeah.
and then it ends up not working out that way. But the way it still worked out.
Yeah.
Still worked out.
There's
Yeah.
always
So
a-
that's you
There's
got a
always
story now.
stage manager who won't
Yep.
let you step
And
on
I'm sure
the
it was still a
subwoofer.
beautiful moment.
Midnight's really good though. I'm trying to stay on time. I can
Yeah,
go
no,
off
I'm
topic
sorry.
the entire time.
I'm the worst.
Yeah, same. Midnight just rips. I mean, it's fast. It has repetitive rhythms. It gets your pulse going slightly quicker. Idols has a lot of. I write a lot, so I don't really listen to a lot of new stuff. I'll see bands, but as far as like what I'm listening to that's modern, I can tell you what I pick and pull from things that are old in order to create new stuff for us. But as far as new things, they influence what you write. So if I'm in a writing period, I don't really listen to a
That's true.
lot
Yeah.
because it'll influence everything that I do, and I won't see it until I bring a song to band, and it'll be like, "Oh, this sounds just like the Idol song." Okay, we can't do this one. But Idol, I like the personality and the voice, and the arrangements are really strange. They're really fresh. Has that sort of England vibe that they don't sound similar, but as far as vibe, it's something fresh, like Joy Division or any of the sort of weirder sounding bands that have come out of England. Like Idols is kind of like that. PJ Harvey's the greatest. If I probably shouldn't be within 200 feet of her, I'd probably just explode. Just blow up.
Burst into pieces.
Our first cover was a PJ Harvey song, Meet the Monster, which eventually morphed into Evil.
Yeah.
That's how we
Okay.
ended up writing the song.
Interesting
Evil.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nick Cave is, I mean, Nick Cave, you can listen to the same song 700 times and each time pick out something else that you're like, I have no idea what he's talking about.
I can be confused
Yeah,
all 700
I have that relationship
times.
with Tom Waits. I'm a big Tom Waits fan.
If you're a big Tom Waits fan, Nick Cave is kind of like the counter Tom Waits.
Okay.
And everyone views them, everyone puts them together, but they're not even close. Like
Close in the way that they're very distinct artists. Maybe.
yes.
Yeah.
I think Nick Cave is darker when he wants to be, and he's also lighter when he wants to be. Some of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard have been Nick Cave songs, and some of the darkest songs I've ever heard have also been Nick Cave songs. So
Yeah.
that's kind of great about him, is every day there's an emotion that he's covered in his discography. So
I do love that when like either between songs or like between albums where it's like completely different, like almost a different genre, sometimes a different genre. It's really cool. I think I'm glad you guys are releasing an album, because the art form of an album is dying in our current state of affairs.
Yeah.
Which, like there's something beautiful. I'm really looking forward to hearing it, because like you said, like it all runs well together. I love it when that happens, because it's like when you want to listen to an album from start to finish, and it's like it's different from when someone picks a song out of it.
yeah.
Yeah. it's just a really cool thing. I missed the album.
The question I have with myself with that is like, and this is the sort of responsibility that musicians need to ask themselves is it the musician's fault for not making albums?
No, not at all. It's the nature of the industry.
True. Yeah. But I also feel like we can still make better albums.
I guess it comes
You know
down to
what I mean?
motivation,
Like-
right? It's like if you're just trying to make a great piece of art, then
Yeah. Like that's what it comes down to is what's your intention? If you want to write a song and make $10 billion, go ahead. Good luck.
Yeah, I know a lot of people stretch it. Even when they release an album, they'll release every song as an EP in the year leading up to it, just because like they're trying to keep that longevity and like keep it on people's minds for as long as possible.
Yeah,
because it is very saturated and it's hard to get your name out there. But that doesn't say I don't love a fucking album, and I really appreciate it when people do that.
Yeah, we're in a weird zone with it where we're just trying to figure out like how do we tell that story, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like we have the record, it's already done, you can hold it, right?
we have vinyl.
Yeah, like it's ready.
Yeah.
It's like it's ready to go, and we're just like, okay, like like part of us like wants, I don't know, like we, in a way it's like part of me doesn't want to spoil it for people, but then part of me is like, who gives a shit? Let's just give it like, like, well, let's just give it all away. Where like we're gonna still sell the vinyl because that's part of the experience, and that's something that we wanted to do. You know what I mean? But it's like, as far as like promo, like you said, like everybody put a song out every month, and it's like, I don't know if that's the key, but we don't have the key either.
Yeah.
So it's like we'll probably end up cutting the difference somewhere in between and do something that we're happy with. And I feel like that's kind of the difference between like what feels like manufactured like a McDonald's and what doesn't, or like why we would do an album and not just keep releasing singles over and over. It's like, because at the end of the day, it's like we don't have the right answer, so we might as well do what feels good to us. And
that's what it's about. Like,
what we're excited about.
Yeah.
So it's like we were talking about earlier. It all comes down to intention. You guys you have this baby you guys made a baby.
Yeah. Like I said, the long distance was hard on the kids.
Yeah. And
the record just sat there.
Now you're putting it out. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Ben, do you have any ghost stories or spiritual experiences?
Nothing that comes to mind. That's what's a bummer. I want to participate, but
I think that's a good answer too.
I genuinely feel fortunate that I don't. And I say that in the sense of like, I have a super open mind, but when I was a kid, I was like petrified of like ghosts, and just like there was just, we were my mom and my sisters were in town this weekend, and we talked about like there was just a period when I was a kid from like 5 until like 12 where I just didn't sleep well. Like it was like for years and years, like I would just stay up at night petrified of it. I was always afraid of like people breaking in. And like, so it was like
zombies for me.
I went from like it was like, as I got older, things got more practical. Like when I was like when I was a kid, I was like, it's got to be ghosts. It's got to be like aliens. And then as soon as I was getting closer to 12, I'm like, somebody's gonna break in. Somebody's gonna break. Like it's B&E. Like I know. Like I'm like mapping it out in my head. I'm like, that back door is not solid. Like, so I feel very fortunate. Like, because there was like a period where I remember one time where I like dropped a remote, and I swear I didn't hit the power button, but I very could have like hit the power button, and the TV turned on by itself. Like that was life altering for me. Like these little things that were like, if it would have hit the right time, like I would have been like just catatonic, because I was so petrified of like that stuff. So I feel pretty fortunate that I've never really come in contact with it, because I just feel like I'm not necessarily going to recover from that.
As a kid, I also had that like paranoid anxiety. Like it would only be when I like laid down to go to bed for some reason.
Yeah.
Same.
But I never experienced anything either. Like as a kid, like I like having like a strict religious background. I kind of like when I turned 18, I was like obnoxiously atheist. Like nothing wrong with atheism, but the way I was doing it, yes.
I'm
right. Yeah. But like I had a phase where I was just like, well, fuck around and find out. And I went looking for that kind of stuff. And like I think if you go looking for it, you can find it. But I don't, recommend it. I don't think that's like something people ought to do. It's life is crazy. The older I'm getting, I'm like, oh, I don't know shit. Like I have more questions now. I have no answers.
Yeah, I just gotten more and more like I just like my religious journey like went through this whole harsh period, and it was like by the end of it I was like, well, I'm still agnostic, and now I just know a lot of random stuff. It was like, but I am just as agnostic as when I started. And
I think agnosticism is the only appropriate answer to whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah.
Like
I
I don't
agree.
know is
Yeah.
the only appropriate answer.
yeah, the people who are claiming, like you said, it's like the people who are claiming to know versus the people claiming that there's nothing at all. It's like I feel like it's a little silly no matter what you're claiming.
It's like, okay, guys, you ought to be like somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Like on or off is not how this works.
Right. Yeah.
And I think like the honest ones will tell you that is like yeah, I'm a Christian, but I don't know if God's real.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like it feels right for me. You're
Yeah.
like, I love you for that.
Yeah.
Right. Like just do what makes you
For
happy.
sure. There's definitely not like one way to it. And that kind of leads me to the next question. What is the meaning of life? What is that can be a personal thing or you can kind of answer it for humanity.
It's a weird time for me to be answering all these questions. You go first. I
Okay,
need
okay.
time for.
I'm really asked because I don't know.
Yeah. So I wouldn't claim to know what the answer is for all of humanity, but I feel like the most I can do in life is to just try and make things easier for other people. And so if that makes sense, where it's like kind of living to make the world better in, even if it's just small incremental ways, because like I have to kind of be happy too, right? So like I don't want to make myself miserable, like so I don't want anybody to make themselves miserable trying to make other people happy, but like I don't know, like just helping people when you can, like fucking being nice to your waiter or waitress,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
these little things in life where it's like we're all lost, we're all a little just screwed up and dealing with our own depression and stuff. And so it's like I feel like the only thing I can do, even just mentally, like what I can give back is just like a little bit of my time and energy to like hopefully make other people's lives a little bit better. And that's the only thing that I've found like comfort in. And it's a thing that I like has been constant through all of my like when I was going through my whole religious thing and going through listening to metal as a kid and listening to Sade as a kid, like I feel like I've had kind of the same general concept the whole time. It's like if you're not like doing your best for other humans to make life better for them, then you're kind of making life better or worse for everybody in a way. So it's like I just would hope, and I think that maybe in an almost dumb optimistic kind of way, I hope that everybody kind of starts from that point of view, and maybe that shit gets covered up as you go, like because you're more jaded or
Sweep it
whatever.
under the carpet.
Yeah. So I just I guess that's my meaning of life. It's like if I can make things, if I can help somebody through a hard time, or if I can be the best boss that anybody's ever had, and I can make that shitty job like a little bit like more reliable or something, you know what I mean? Like you find meaning where you can. And the same thing with music, where it's like what we were kind of saying earlier. It's like I never expected to be the best drummer. I never expected to be like the best. Like I don't really do, like I don't do flashy fills. Like what I do is like I play the parts I want to play. I play them as well as I can. And what I hope is that like when, like we were saying, like when somebody's upset or when somebody's happy, they're using our music or the thing that we put out into the world as like the soundtrack to that part of their life.
Yeah.
And it's like if I can do that, then like I was a successful drummer. Like I don't know. It's like all those little things helping people throughout.
Yeah, I like that because it's what you said is more than just even neutral. Like it's still an act. It's a conscious act to leave like a net positive for the world. I think that's beautiful. I hope that most people, I hope all people have that baseline. I think most of us do. Like I'm very much like a humanist. I think people are good. I think the situation we're in is bad.
Yeah.
Tinfoil hat, like I'm not so sure it's people doing that. But either way, like it's a like a very small amount of people, even if it is people doing it to a lot of really good people.
Yeah.
And circumstantially people don't always behave the best and we do bad things, but I think we're all good. Like we have
Yeah,
a
it's
good,
like even if you like zoom in on that one person and you're like what are they doing?
Mm.
And you're like, yes,
Yeah.
maybe it is like affecting people in a negative way, but that person's probably also like scared and they're probably like
Yeah.
acting out of fear, even if
Sure.
it's like shitty and racist, right? Like you zoom in on it and you're like, I bet that's fear based.
So
Like I
ignorance,
bet that's
yeah.
ignorance.
Yeah.
I bet that's a coping mechanism.
I hope we're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I hope so.
I kind of have to think that's true.
Yeah. To
Uh,
be the positive person that I am, I
yeah.
have to. I have to assume. I have to assume
I'm
that
right there with you.
that's
Listen, I agree to an extent, but I also feel the complete opposite.
okay. Okay.
Like, I don't know. I guess I can say I've been very close to death this year, and I've seen people close to death. I've had a lot of moments in question, and that takes its toll. And at that time, I saw the people who were really there, and that was surprising. And and it was like it was eye-opening. It was like very, because I always thought that. I always thought like everyone's so good. And I'm like, they don't have to be. That doesn't influence me in any way. I can be. You don't affect me. You can go be ignorant. You can go like my meaning is different than your meaning, and I have to accept that. I don't know. I used to think good of people. I guess when you've been dragged around,
Yeah.
you know,
It might
like,
be very just what's the word? Like naive of us to feel that way.
yeah,
Maybe we're
yeah,
just missing out on maybe we're just
Yeah.
have been around good people. I don't know. But like I definitely think there's exceptions to this. Like I think there's there are people that don't have like I mean, there's a straight up like psychopaths, and that's not even like to rag on people with mental illness. It's
Yeah.
just like they part of the diagnosis is they don't care.
right.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
so I mean there's definitely people out there, and it might be more than I'm comfortable with. It probably is probably a
Right.
lot more than I'm comfortable with.
If I had to give you an answer to that question though, like what is the meaning
Yeah.
of life? I feel like a lot of times we forget to like live. And
Mm.
I feel like we get sucked into society, we get sucked into things that are so out of our way. And we just forget, like in the moment, in this exact minute, I need to exist and I need to live now. And today matters. What the 5-year plan, don't have a 5-year plan, have a tomorrow plan and just do that. Like I've had to learn how to live like that, and I've enjoyed that. Like I feel like I don't know, you see people all the time where like you just look at them and they look like Mr. 5-year plan, like they or like Mrs. 5-year plan, like
Even if you fulfill that, you're not here.
yeah, you're not here, like
Yeah.
be here now, be
Ram
with
Dass,
me.
baby.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that's I struggle with that, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm one of the people that's either I'm in the past looking at like what used to be, you
Yeah.
know, like or I'm like, what is my plan for the future?
Yeah.
Like I have I struggle with that. I'm working on it though.
I was lucky to have a moment where I had like a doctor tell me that literally to my face that like everything like you're old, like whatever you were doing, you like it's dead now. And like you need to move forward. And that was sort of something that was like, holy shit. So I've been freed of sort of that past, like living in the past. There's a lot of the Black Venus stuff. I mean, Gold, a lot on this record is like that. Like Gold is about a story when I was 21, something I always wanted to have back. a lot of this, right? You can,
Yeah.
a lot of a lot of this record takes place in me looking back into the past, sort of critiquing. But no, I've learned how to live for now, live for the immediate future, and that's been really, really great. And
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, it sounds like having like come out of that experience, it's been a benefit.
Yes and no. It's been weird as fuck. It's been weird being in society again. It's been like,
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
This is something I ask everyone. It's
Yeah.
not like personal, but like, what do you think happens after we die? And to be clear, I don't think anyone knows, right? Like, but I think about it a lot. I think about it intrusively, so I think about it all the fucking time. And I like to get different people's perspectives on it. I think you might have a unique perspective on it.
I I had like weird dreams during my experience, like every night. And I remembered most of them. And I feel like something happens. Something happens after you die. I don't have a visualization on it. I don't. I do think your soul leaves your body. I don't where it goes. That I don't want to answer that. I don't know, but I do think that there is something to be said about someone's soul. There is a soul. You do feel someone around. There are little flickers of flames, and there are little supernatural things that happen. And I do think, yeah, I think there's something weird happens, but I don't know what it is. I mean,
I think that's what, not to turn all Joe Rogan, but I think that's what happens like with like DMT and like psychedelics
Yeah.
and shit.
yep.
They call it a place drug because you go somewhere.
That's why I'm afraid to do it. I've never done anything like that. I won't ever. I
I
don't.
used to be like a hard advocate,
Yeah.
and then I had some experience, particularly the last time I did it. I think there's real harm, like in danger potentially.
Yeah.
I think you're really fucking with. We have no idea what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
It is the strangest experience one can have, and like I would say that's not, maybe that's naive too, but like it you go somewhere, and I think it, like you said, I think like there's not one answer. Like
Yeah.
you exist, and that could be in a million different places. Or maybe like some people I've talked to, like I ask everyone this would be like 155 or something on episodes, but like sometimes I get the answer like nothing happens, and I think maybe for them,
Yeah.
but it's not one answer.
I feel like that comes into play too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You just hear so much. Even people who've had like case studies about people who. I read one. I have this Oliver Sacks music book, and I read one of the. It was fucking so hard to read. I tried to read it; it was impossible. But one of the stories was how a dude got struck by lightning and died, and they brought him back to life, and he was a piano prodigy, and he just knew how to play piano, and shit like that is like something weird's going on. There's something going on that we don't know about. That's cool. Like, I'm just not gonna fuck with it.
Yeah. I think people need to be wary of these kind of things. I'm definitely not saying people shouldn't do these things either, but there needs to be a level of understanding, like, hey, don't just like tell people, whoa, dude, that was crazy. Like, make sure there's like a reverence around it.
Yeah.
What about you, Ben?
I don't know, man. And I think that that's kind of the root of a lot of my fears, is just not knowing.
Yeah.
Being in a place where, like I said, I did my own little religious journey, probably 6 years ago at this point or something. And it was just the kind of thing where it was such a come to terms with reality kind of thing that, it seems like to me that all the evidence that's out there, quote evidence, right? Like seems to point to why would there be anything? But all of the like things that like I would like to believe would point the other direction, where it's like, well, of course there's got to be something. Like this is gotta be for something, right? Like it can't all have just been like right place, right time, right temperature, right atoms. Like that was Ben, right? Like I'm just like in my head, it's like, God, I hope it was for not God, but something. I gotta hope it was for something else.
Yeah.
But I'm just not sure. And so every like if you would have said, no, I don't think anything at all, I'd be like, oh word. And he would be like, there's gotta be something. I'd be like,
Yeah, it's gotta
oh
be
word. Like
Yeah.
I am like equally, and I think I am like agnostic in that way to a fault, where it's like everybody's view on it is just as
Yeah.
interesting and valid and like worth listening to as the next person kind of thing.
My only like strong opinion on it is that I don't have any idea.
Right.
Like, whereas even according to experiences I've had, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
there's a very strong argument that all of that just takes place in the mind. Like
Yeah.
I have a friend that's like as obnoxiously atheist as I used to be,
Yeah.
Right.
and he took DMT, and like in retrospect, like talking about the next day, he's like, yeah, like I know logically in my mind that all took place in my head. Like I know that's the case, but it definitely didn't feel that way.
Mhm.
Like just based on the experience itself, not that. But like he's like, but he's still able to rationalize it. I think that's a great argument too. That it does, because we don't know what dreams are either. Like dreams are weird. Like you were talking
That's
about.
I had a very specific dream at a certain time in my life that I'll never forget. And it like impacted me in very strange ways and turned into something that was positive. It was weird.
Yeah.
But
Maybe like prophetic, like something will happen, like, or it's just like strong deja vu, and it's like I don't even remember what I'm relating this to.
Yep.
It just, yeah, dreams are crazy.
those are the things though that lead me to believe that there has to be something more.
Where do you? I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
Where do you think art comes from? Like, what is art? I guess, like two-part question. I guess, what is the definition, and
Cool.
where does it come? Like, I saw this Alex. You guys know Alex Gray? He did all the Tool album art,
Okay.
all the really
Okay.
trippy stuff.
Yeah.
He has this painting, and it's this guy painting a canvas. So it's like very meta
Mhm.
off the get-go. But then there's this guy behind the guy in the painting, like shooting this like beam into the back of his head as he's drawing this thing. And it like, I don't write music, but I write poetry, and I'm working on a fantasy novel right now. And like, I know personally, I'm sure you guys can relate to this. It's like, if I'm like, okay, today I'm going to sit down and write something, that's not going to happen.
That's because you try to make. That's good.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. I go through the same thing. It's because you don't make you like art is. I'll tell you that what you do is art. You don't tell me that you made art.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
Yes. Well said.
Like,
I love that. That's great.
if I want to paint, I'll paint. When we want to make music, we make music. You're the one that calls it art.
Right.
You know, like, and any time that I've just like sat down and been like, man, I want to write about this feeling I had, I'll write something down. But you're right. Anytime you sit down and you're like, I'm gonna write a fucking song, nothing comes out. Like nothing, you won't be able to do anything. That's because you're trying to make art. Like, don't try.
So what is the process like? Where does it originate?
I feel like we're drastically different. when it comes to
Drastically
this kind of
different.
stuff,
Yeah.
which will be really interesting to just
Yeah.
flesh it out a little bit.
So if you can't like make it happen, how?
Usually there's like a floodgate for me where like I'll go through a block or just like a lot of incomplete things like stanzas I write poetry to, or a song title, or like melody. I'll have a melody in my head for months, and then one random day, like all the stars have to align for me. Like I have to have a notebook, I have to have a pen, I have to have a guitar, I have to have a phone. Otherwise, it'll get lost in the void of ideas and never return. Like you'll be, I have that daily where I'll be like, "Da, na, 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 na. Oh, that would be awesome." An hour later, I no idea what that was, and it's gone forever. So
It's like dreaming.
Yeah, it's kinda like
if I don't
dreaming,
write it down right
yeah.
away, I'm not gonna remember
Is
it later.
Is that like at random times, or is there usually something particular you're doing?
random times.
Okay.
Random. I'll be taking a shower, and all of a sudden I'll be like, "Oh fuck!" Like Venus in gold. Oh, there's the last line. Like shit. Where's the pen? Like, yeah. That's now I'm in a period of sort of block. At the beginning of the year, I was like cranking out shit. I think I wrote like 20 songs in 2 months.
Damn.
And then like since it's kind of just been like block. Like I've just been forcing it. So
Yeah. I'm not a consistent guy either. It's like you got to ride the wave when it comes.
Yep.
And then,
yep.
yeah. What about you, Ben?
I feel like I have to be a little bit more rigid with myself, or like I'll never really complete anything. Even to the point where I'm like, I say that now as if I've completed something, but I'm not sure I have. But that's not
You
to say,
have, man.
yeah,
Yeah, you have.
and that's the thing too, is like, I more so just like when Gary's talking about writing a song, what Gary brings to the band is, I'd say probably maybe 80% of what it ends up being. You know, it's probably
I less. I go. If I were to give percentages, I think Ben, you make up like you provide the rhythm, and the rhythm is super important.
Right.
That adds all the
yeah.
the tone to the song. I could bring the best lyrics in the world if there's no fucking rhythm. The song isn't gonna catch on with people. So I mean, I think I bring the lyrics. I bring an idea.
Right.
We sort it out.
We
as a
figure it
band.
out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what's so fantastic about Black Venus for me, is like it really scratches an itch that like is so hard for me to scratch by myself, right? So I'm working on quote solo music. It's like it has to be really rigid, almost the opposite of like what Gary said, where I thrive writing when I have given myself like an entire concept album, like I've fleshed out like what track 1 is about, track 2 is about, track 3 is about, and then I'm like, okay, how do I transition from track 1 to track 2, and what does that mean for verse 1 to verse 2? And it's like that. And so those are when I've been the most prolific, when I give myself those rigid details. But that doesn't mean that I ever really finished those projects. And so right now I'm working on a thing where I'm kind of like in the Gary mode of like, how do you know, like you have the guitar, you have the melody, what does that look like? And I'm trying to be like, no, I'm gonna write these songs, like maybe I'll have like general idea, but I want them to be like songs as opposed to like chapters in a book that I'm writing. But like you said, it's like I'm almost the opposite, where like I need to be like, okay, like it's time to write. But I also will follow an idea until it becomes stale, if that makes sense. So like I follow inspiration until it's like maybe I'll crank out like a whole verse, and then I'll get to the second verse and I'm like, I'm just in second verse territory. I'm gonna stop now. Like I just feel like I'm not like rehashing an idea, but it just feels like I'm forcing it now. So I'll come back to this later. And like so I kind of like ride waves of inspiration. But then when I go to work on something, it's much more rigid. Like I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna try and finish the lyrics to this song today because I have a little bit of time. And it's like, oh, cool. Like shit, that's the hook. Like, and so I really do kind of thrive with a little bit more structure.
That's where we like meet in the middle, and it's kind of great because he brings the structure and I can bring sort of the
That's great.
free form.
You've always been like the hook guy.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I've always like when I talk about like when Gary will write like a couplet that like tells you all you need to know about like an entire relationship he's had. And like I'll write a stanza and I'm like, I'm gonna use all of this, every single word, to paint you the most vivid detail. It's like everything I do is like very detail oriented, and Gary can write like solid hooks that are like, I don't know, it's just
Slow and Easy's coming.
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. You guys have a good synergy, like in your writing process. Like you both bringing something to the table.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Also, there's like a when you play music with people for a long period of time, you develop sort of energy where like you don't even like we need to practice, but if a drum set and a guitar showed up right now, we could play the songs like
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it. There's like I don't know, you kind of
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
we
Like,
practice way more for we practice way more for transitions than we practice for like, oh, I got to play that one song again. I can't remember how it goes. Like,
no, like
what we really are getting at is either we're working on a new thing or we're like, we got to figure out how to morph these two together because we really wanted to open with this, but we got to hit like the energy has to hit during that second
yeah,
song.
like,
And
we
it's
think
like,
about that. It's like a journey for us to play a show now because
Yeah.
we will take two songs that shouldn't go back to back and find a way to put them together. And
Yeah.
we've done it pretty much for every show we've ever played. There hasn't been one where like we didn't know what we were gonna do going into the show.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't. Yeah,
Nice.
that kind of scares me.
So you're trying to like make a different performance every time you play too.
Yeah, it's a performance.
Yeah.
That's the whole
Yeah.
point of performing. Is I feel like that's another thing that no one, like some people forget that they're doing is like you're putting on a show for people.
Yeah, instead of playing like the same tired thing the exact same way.
Same thing,
Yeah.
same way.
Mhm.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. What was I gonna say? Oh, what are like some big things you guys are into outside of music? Like pieces like video games, movies, pieces of art, or just hobbies?
Well, me.
oh, you just
I got a lock in my pocket. I've been trying to pick the lock all day.
Dr. Seuss over here. I got a locket in my pocket.
I'm into weird manufacturing. I'm into American manufacturing. I find it fascinating. The history of manufacturing
Okay.
is
Right
like
on.
really cool.
Okay, bet.
I went
You
to
have any
the
examples?
Yeah,
Like,
let's-
no, that's
Yeah.
all you get.
I went to the Jelly Belly. Like, okay, I love candy. It's bad. It's real bad. But like, you always look at like where the fuck do M&Ms come from?
Right.
Like, where did
Look
they
at how
start?
it's made.
How is it? How it's made?
Yeah.
How it's made is probably top 5 favorite
That was the
shows.
shit.
Yeah. I watched that now. I watched it last night.
Oh, is it still on?
It's on HBO Max.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
every season. I went to the Jelly Belly factory in California. It was amazing. It was unreal.
American manufacturer.
American manufacturing.
That's the coolest answer I got to that question.
If I wasn't a musician and I could go back to school, I would love to be like a mechanical engineer. A lot of the Black Venus merch, like I get a huge kick out of because it's my own little like manufacturing plant.
little Gary factory.
Yeah, it's a Gary factory. Like I made tarot cards for the bands and I had to like design all the cards.
Dude, wait,
Hot
does this
Wheels.
exist? Like,
yeah,
can I buy one?
yeah. I'll
Yeah.
give you one. I have an extra one. I'll give you some. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
I had to write down the meeting for each card, and it has a little booklet and shit. Like, there was one year for Muddy Roots that I made toys, and I had to. We have a song "Dead Man's Blues" that's on the record, and I made like a Dead Man's Blues playset, and it had like a toy gun and a sheriff's badge and a bandana. And I had to like design the wrapper and yeah, so like I really like manufacturing. Like,
Love it.
No, I believe you.
I find it cool. Like,
That's so cool.
yeah,
I'm definitely have to see these tarot cards. That's awesome.
yeah, that was what I did. Yeah, I designed. There's 30 of them. They're all of the things that are in the band. So like Ben used to have this orange water bottle.
I left it in Portland.
Yep, he left it in Portland.
R.I.P.
Before the tarot cards even released.
Yep, got rid of the water
In
bottle.
memory of.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, there's the sticks, there's the cymbals, the drum,
Buzz pedal.
fuzz pedal, my amps, me. So, and people, you can actually use them.
Yeah.
Ask it a question.
That's when it's not following that set like Arcana, like Magician, Fool.
yeah.
It's called an Oracle deck. and
It's an
that's,
Oracle
that's a really
deck.
popular
Yeah.
thing too. Yeah.
I have a witch's Oracle deck that I use once a week that I love. I love Oracle decks. I like the 3-card spread.
Yeah, man.
That's cool. So yeah, you'll enjoy those.
Yeah,
So
that's so cool. What are you into outside of Every Time I Die?
Yeah.
say it.
Reluctantly, my whole career and also just my passion is probably coffee stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, and we have a Black Venus blend that will be.
Oh shit,
It's
that's awesome.
called the Gold Blend.
Yep.
We'll be selling it at the basement on the
Fuck
si-
yes.
sixth.
Yep.
The 6th.
Fuck yeah.
It's like a mixture of like 2 of my favorite coffees we have. So it's like one of those things where I'll spend like it's been a little bit less right now because we're like in like huge crazy mode, but it'll be like work the whole day and then on the weekend what do I do? It's like I make coffee like for myself at my place kind of thing.
Hell yeah.
So
That's awesome. I was just talking about like we're trying to roll out some new merch for this, and like I've got the stickers,
Yeah.
and we're like me and my producer were just talking about like what kind of merch we want to look at, and we both agree that like practical merch, like lighters, that's the shit.
Trying to do
Like
Yeah.
grinders, like shit people use, you
Yeah.
know. Like I have 10,000 of these band tees, and yo, great shirt. I'm not dismissing band tees, right?
Mhm.
Like that's great too, but like I would much rather buy like I don't know, literally anything,
Yeah.
because I already have 1,000 black band tees.
Right.
True, but I'll say to you how many people are buying teas. Like,
I don't know actually.
I
no
thought
idea.
the same thing at Muddy. We sold over $1,000 of. We sold all of our merch at Muddy.
Dude, that's
And
awesome.
T-shirts, a cool T-shirt. People want a cool T-shirt.
Oh, so okay, so people are buying t-shirts.
People
That's awesome.
are buying T-shirts.
Okay,
Like,
cool.
We brought 20 bags of coffee and we didn't, so we sold like 7, which is
Yeah,
fine. Like I knew like like I feel like it'll probably like go better in like East Nashville or
Yeah.
whatever when we play a show. But yeah, we sold out of all the
All the
exclusive
t-shirts.
records, all the t-shirts,
yeah. We brought our record to Muddy, and
exclusive CD version.
yeah, but the
Wait,
problem
the one
was-
that's not released yet?
yeah, there was only 25 of them, and
I wanted to look at it after the set, and you were like, "No, we sold them all."
We sold them all,
I didn't
dude,
even get
yeah.
to look at
Awesome.
it.
but
That's so cool.
It was fantastic.
But what bugs me out is that Matt, you remember, I don't know if you met Matt, who was at Muddy Roots, he didn't even open it and play it. He like put it on his mantle. And I was like, well, that's the whole point, was for you to hear it, man.
It's like, no, you got to keep it pristine. I get it.
Yeah, that's another thing that goes along with like sort of an item or a product is like what you do here is this is your product. So there is trends and you do have to sort of play into what people will buy. And although like what I always like to do is have 2 items, one that I really enjoy and one that someone who is not me would enjoy. So with your cool lighter, have a cool t-shirt. Because
Yeah.
maybe, you know, what percentage of yous are there out there? Whatever. You know, there's always the opposite. So it's
Yeah.
good to have both
That's
perspectives.
actually what we kind of decided on, was going to do like generic's not a good way to sell it. Like a very like
Straightforward.
yes,
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 yeah.
thank you. Like yeah, like print a bunch of those, like, and then do like some upcycling too. Like I like a lot of DIY bands and venues are doing that, which
Yeah.
I like that too, because every piece is individual. Like
Yep.
I was thinking about upcycling, but getting like weird shit.
Yeah.
Like shout out to the Gunk House in Cave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I played the Gunk House one time.
fuck yeah. Well, those dudes are doing like really cool upcycling stuff with their merch. Because like they've got like here's a button-up shirt, and like
But then we screen printed it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, and it's like this is the only one that will ever exist of this.
Yeah.
It's
cool.
really cool. Yeah, so I think we're gonna do a little bit of both.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we end up in that zone of like we'll have like it's almost like we're in the process probably pretty soon of like we need to do another just logo tee.
Yeah.
And then it's like we'll have those and then what's the other fun stuff? You
Yeah.
like it's like you keep the logo tee either gray or black, like super straightforward, and then you have like, oh, let's do this Blackheart one or this
Yeah.
off-brand product one.
We made a shirt that just said off-brand on it, but we didn't release the song off-brand product, so no one knows what that
It
meant.
doesn't even have our logo on
Yeah,
it.
it doesn't.
Just
It
says
just says
off-brand.
And what you know,
off-brand.
they sold out.
Yeah,
They definitely sold out of money.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
yeah, that was cool.
Well, we've been going probably a little over an hour.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you gentlemen for taking time to
Yeah, man.
come and talk to me,
This has been
man.
great.
Yeah.
Definitely check out Black Venus December 6th at the OG Basement,
Yeah.
playing their new album out December 8th, all platforms, all streaming
Oh, yeah.
platforms, in addition to you can just get a physical copy too.
Get the physical copy. You'll enjoy it more.
Yeah,
It's
get
a
it,
real
get it on
record.
vinyl too.
It's a real record. It
It's real.
exists.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be random color, but it's all the same color,
But
and
it was randomly picked.
the color somehow matches the tone of the record,
It's
and we're
great.
very
Like-
happy and proud.
It's like a smoke gray.
Yeah, they all came out smoky gray.
Fuck yeah.
They had to be shipped from the Czech Republic. It was the coolest thing. I had to go through customs and shit.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really cool.
You had to like take a biplane like to
Think
To
about that.
Russia.
Like, yeah, like seriously,
meet
like,
up with some shady dude, gives you a crate.
like, oh, Black Venus record. Put these in the plane.
Yeah.
Give me Black Venus record. Like,
Oh, what's the name about? What is Black Venus?
oh, you'll enjoy this. Comes from my favorite poet, Baudelaire. He had a mistress. Her name was Jean Duval. I think either Monet or Manet did a portrait, a painting of her. And they had a really fiery relationship, and just a lot of speculation that she gave him syphilis, and then he died of complications of that later. But he always referred to her when he would write letters to his family members as Black Venus. And I've had an obsession with Baudelaire since I was a kid. So
That ironically makes a lot of sense. Like your music sounds like a complicated sexual
it's
relationship.
well, most of it is, man. Yeah, most of the songs are about that.
Actually, what is like you guys have such a weird sound. Like where does that come from? Like how did you guys develop that sound?
Just what we have. That's the weird thing. It's like,
Can I take it? Can I
yeah,
take it?
take it.
So I've always thought about it, and I've talked about it like recently, is like I feel like what you and it as part of your story was like you didn't have much money when you were younger, and if you broke a string, you would just
Yep.
down tune your guitar.
Yep.
And so you ended up in these like strange open tunings and low tunings, and then you were like playing slide riffs. And then that's kind of like what you bring to Black Venus. And then I hear low slide, like you're playing that with like fuzz, and I hear that and I go, oh, heavy metal. Like my brain goes like breakdown and like
Yeah.
like oh, halftime, and like oh, like like
Yeah.
so I just feel like we've played the weirdest stuff and it's all come out sounding like Black Venus. So it's like even if you brought the most like trite like thing that was just and I just play to it, it's like I'm never coming at it from the same angle as you, so it ends up just being like we played Back to Black by like Amy Winehouse,
at
and it
one
was like,
point.
oh, it's this Black Venus
Yeah,
song.
Black Venus. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just like the weirder the shit we do, it just ends up being like, oh well, when that comes out the other end, what it'll be is like a sound like Black Venus. And it's just been that's what's so like again, like what's so fulfilling about it. It's like I have never felt like I can't do like I like creatively, I'm like whatever I want to play has always fit.
Yeah.
And it's I would never have been like, oh, I definitely need to join like a blue like a heavy blues duo. But it was like it's been the answer to like every creative outlet that I've like wanted to
Dude,
do.
yeah, I see what you mean. Like I can see coming from a metal background, it's got a lot of bite to it, even though it's
Yeah.
not like maybe what you listen to.
Right.
It like it's just it's raw. It's
Mhm.
raw as fuck.
What's funny, every time like someone says it's raw, it just brings me back to like the gear we use, because it's not really a lot.
Mm.
It's just kind of loud. It's like playing a shitty, well, not even shitty, just like headphones, just playing it really loud in headphones, how it just sounds more live. That's just kind of what I try to achieve is, so when it sounds loud, we're playing hard. Like that's
Yeah.
what it is. It's not some device that does it for us. Like I have to hit the fuck out of the guitar. And I used to bleed on stage. You remember that? Yeah, bled all over the Mercy Lounge. That was kind of funny.
That's badass.
We blew a speaker in Dino's. Your cymbal didn't your
Wait.
cymbals fall?
At
We won.
Dino's?
Yeah, we played at Dino's.
What the fuck?
And
That's awesome.
one of my speakers blew.
The whole time it was just like,
Yeah.
like you could hear it was like
Are
a
we talking about the same Dino's?
Dino's,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
they did.
and it filled up the whole place with smoke. Yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
dude, that's fucking awesome.
yeah, they did like a it was like it was Dino's and what was it used to be right next to Dino's was
308.
308. They did like
Yeah.
a music festival of sorts where
Okay.
like you switch back and forth between
Holy shit.
yeah, they like
That's the closest thing I've ever heard.
it was odd. It was odd just because we got there at like 11 and they were like, what are you doing here? It's like load in set 11.
Said 11 o'clock.
Nobody else showed up for like 3 more hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, that's fucking awesome.
My cymbal fell off the stand at the basement. That was the first at the OG basement. We were playing like a new Faces night.
Yeah.
In the middle of the song, it just a 22-inch ride cymbal just went gong, and like I so I just switch over here, and then like I think it was Blackheart, right? You switch to the acapella part. I like run over, grabbed a different cymbal stand because they just had like their pile of like hardware over here. Like crank it up, put it on, and like got back on beat. And,
We always had bad luck in that place.
yeah, well, it was like that was the last time I ever didn't bring my own cymbal stands because it was like everything I play is like at least 20. So I have like a 20 and then two 22 inches, like just huge ass cymbals for no reason.
Did
and
my amps fall off stage at the High Watt? Do you remember that? The end of us, we were playing. It was like the last song. They were playing John the Revelator, and my amp fell off the stage.
Yes, yeah. Yep. And then there was a time where I have like a cymbal stand that's both 22s, and that fell off the entire stage at
God.
what was the festival in the woods? Bob Fest.
Oh, Bob Fest.
Yeah, it just like rattled its way to the side, and then just like in the middle, it was just like like just.
That was a bad show.
Yeah, it was a bad show.
Man.
And it was so hot that like my glasses steamed up
Yeah.
immediately, so I couldn't see anything.
No, that was the deal. I had this idea to have a fog machine. I really wanted a fog machine. And I told the guy running the fog machine to release fog hell the minute we started playing.
Let it rip.
But we couldn't see.
And then I'm back there just fogged up. My cymbals fall off the stage.
Oh my God.
Too much fog. Not a good thing. You can't see couldn't see anything. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, never doing that again.
You never know what to expect with the Black Venus show. Okay.
Yeah.
So hopefully you have good luck at basement, and if not, I'll see you guys do some really cool improv shit.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Like change it in the
Some
acapella section
acrobat
or something. Yeah.
Shit, like jumping over the drum set to set up the cymbal again.
Well, again, life doesn't go the way we planned.
No.
But it ends up being something beautiful anyway.
Yeah.
Black
That's the way to
Venus.
look at it. Yeah.
December 6th at the OG basement. Be there, Alice. I'll be there, so I'll know if you're not, and I'll do violence on you.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll meet you in the parking lot and beat you up.
With my guitar.
Yeah. You can hear these guys play their album in its entirety.
Yep.
And who else is playing?
So far, it's just gonna be us.
Okay.
We'll see.
We'll see if there's
Okay.
anyone else. I
Time
don't.
will tell.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of like the 4-band bill anymore.
Yeah.
Why not? It doesn't need to be that long.
Yeah, I feel you.
So
Usually, yeah, after 3 I'm so like,
Been standing here a while.
I'm staying here a while.
you pay like $70 to go see 2 bands. Like,
Yeah,
why are we trying to push 4 with $10?
dude, good point. I never thought about it like that. It's a good point.
We have played at like 1 a.m. to no one, and it was like, well, why are we playing at 1 a.m?
Yeah.
Like, no.
I feel you. It's I like the way you put that, is like people will pay $70 to go see 2 bands at like some packed out fucking
Yeah.
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 Well, thanks again, gentlemen. I would love to do this again sometime. I'd
Yeah,
love to have you guys back on. But like I said, we do like a rotating cast. So if I'll have someone else here, or you guys are always welcome to sit in if you see another band I'm interviewing. They're like,
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll be devil's advocate the entire time.
Okay.
I
Contradict me on literally everything.
that's what I do. I don't know. It's not that I contradict. I always just ask why. And it really fucks with people.
Just be every time I say something, nuh-uh.
Nope.
Can I elaborate on that?
Yeah.
No. That'd be
Like,
what I
yes,
say.
please.
Yes, please. Every time.
Check out Black Venus, and we will see you next week.
Bye.